So everyone says that we are supposed to build a network in order to build our business. And that sounds great, but if you're new to business, where are you supposed to start? What's more, if you're in a new industry, where are you supposed to start? Well, that's what we're going to cover in today's video. Hey everyone, I'm Ian Campbell. I'm CEO of Mission Suite. Before we jump in today, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you're notified every time that we post new videos. So, welcome back everybody. I'm back here in my office here in Denver, Colorado. Had a great trip going back with my family. Got to see my wife and my son enjoy time with Quinn's aunts and uncles and with his cousins and everything, and just had a great time. It reminded me a little bit, though, of some of the things that I had to do when I initially left Rochester and moved to San Diego. And that really dove into a lot of networking stuff. And as luck would have it, we're in the middle of this networking series. So I thought that I would talk a little bit about some of the things that I have done in order to build my businesses from the get-go in new cities as I've gone to these cities from time to time, and when I've gotten into new markets, new industries, started new businesses, so on and so forth. Because over the course of the past 20 years in business, I have tried everything, at least once, to build my business and to get new clients. And I can tell you that nothing has been reliable and as just consistent as building a business with networking. I mean, I've tried cold calling, and I've had varying degrees of success with cold calling. I've tried social media marketing. I've tried digital marketing. I've tried SEM. I've tried pay-per-click marketing, which are kind of the same thing. I've tried social advertising. I've tried all sorts of content marketing. I've even used fax machine campaigns once upon a time. I don't know if you remember fax machines, but they actually used to be a pretty productive way to find people who were interested in what you were doing. But again, nothing has ever been as consistent and as consistently reliable to help me build my business as networking. But again, when I moved to San Diego from Rochester, I had a huge network in San Diego, but it was all in the music world and, some professional connections in from Toastmasters and things like that. But for the most part, not a lot of business connections back in Rochester. So when I moved to San Diego and I decided to get back into business and start my business there, all of a sudden I was in a relationship town with no relationships. And what was worse is that it was at the beginning of 2008, which for those of you who may not remember, painfully, 2008 was the beginning of the Great Recession that we had. And so it made it even more challenging to find people who were willing to take your call, willing to have that initial meeting for you, right? And so networking was the thing that I was able to do consistently to actually build my business. So let's dive in. Let's talk about the first 5 things that I do anytime that I go into a new market. If I'm going into a new town, if I'm moving to a new city, or when I moved from consulting into Mission Suite and CRM sales, we'll dive into those 5 things that I've used successfully to build my business with networking. So the first thing that you have to do when you want to start getting into a network in any new town or doing anything new at all is just start going to networking events. And you're gonna kind of kiss a lot of frogs in this world as you're trying to figure out which networking events are actually worth going to, right? You're gonna find a lot of networking events that are pretty much open to anybody who's willing to spend $25 on lunch, or sometimes spend $10 on lunch and maybe pay a $5 entry fee, right? You're gonna find a lot of those people, but those oftentimes aren't going to be the people that you really want to be networking with, because they're not going to be the people that have the relationships that I would assume that if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you're looking for upper tier relationships with people who are doing more business with other business owners and things like that, because that tends to be where we look for, right? And so while these networking events that you're going to start out with are going to serve a purpose and going to provide a value, it's important to remember that they are stepping stones. And I understand that that may sound a little bit callous, but understanding that and realizing that makes it okay for you to go into an event and realize this is not a group that I want to be a part of, but look, there are 2 people that are actually worth connecting with later that might help me get to the next step, right? Because every time that you start out new, you're starting at the bottom. And frankly, that includes being involved in networking events as well, unfortunately, right? But that's how you're going to meet people. That's how you're going to grow, right? And so anybody that is at these events, ideally, they're probably going to know other people in the market, other people that are doing work in that world. So if you know really, really well who your referral partners are and who your clients are and who you want to meet with and who you want to be talking to, then at that point, all you have to do is look for people that are willing to make connections to those other people and then meet with them. And that leads me to my second thing is whenever I would go into a new market, whenever I would start working in a new industry or anything like that, I would meet with anybody who was willing to meet with me. Again, kissed a lot of frogs in this type of system that I've developed, right? But it also accelerated all the work that I have to do, right? Because what I realize is that for every one person who just can serve no value to your business whatsoever, they don't know anybody in the market, they don't have any connections that they can provide to you, maybe they're not willing to provide anything to you, maybe they have no interest in doing anything but just kind of vomiting about their business on you during your entire 1 hour one-on-one coffee, right? For every one person that you meet like that, you're going to meet 5 people that are going to help you, that are going to be able to help you figure out a way to move to get connected with the people that you want to be connected to, right? Now, the key thing here though is that this is all reliant on you. You have to know who you want to be meeting with. You have to know who your perfect client is. You have to know who your perfect referral partner is, because as you're going around and meeting with anybody that you can that will actually meet with you, unless you want to continue only meeting with the people who are willing to meet with you then and there and just kind of keep in that mindset, which I promise you you don't. I've been there before. It is not healthy. But unless leaving that behind, you need to be able to tell that person that you're sitting across from exactly who you want to meet, exactly who they can introduce you to, right? Who do you know that's in commercial insurance? Who do you know that's a marketing consultant? Who do you know that is, right? So be asking those questions, be direct about those questions, right? Be very specific and very, very, very forward about who you want to be meeting with. Right? Don't necessarily tell the person across from you that, you serve no purpose to me, but the connections that you can make, because hopefully that's not true. And if it is, that's a different conversation altogether. But you don't want, you need to be able to let these people know that, listen, I need to be meeting with commercial insurance brokers. Do you know any? And then once you get the first introduction to them, that opens up a whole new world, right? I need to be meeting with marketing consultants. Once you get the introduction there, same thing. All of a sudden, a whole new world of connections open up for you, right? So use those people strategically, but just start taking meetings, because realistically, you don't have a whole lot else to do when you're in a new market. The next thing that I like to kind of dive in on when I'm talking about this with other folks is remember not to be shy about moving up. Right? Again, you're using a lot of these initial relationships and a lot of these initial kind of events that you're going to as stepping stones. And again, yes, that does sound callous. I get that. But again, time is the only thing that you can't make more of, right? And so every time that you go to a networking event that only has 2 people that are actually worth your time and connecting with, and 42 people that aren't, that are just trying to sell you another round of property and casualty insurance for your home, well, the more time you're wasting and the less networking is actually going to work for you, right? Networking truly can work for anybody in helping them develop their business, but you have to work it right. Right? And so if you're wasting your time at these places, then you're not spending your time right. And you are going to end up frustrated and thinking that this doesn't work. And then, maybe I should just go back to cold calling, which is, almost never the solution. But bear in mind, that it's okay to move up. It's okay to move to outgrow an organization that you were initially a part of, right? It's okay to outgrow relationships. And it's never fun. It's not necessarily easy, but for the most part, people get it. So don't be shy about moving up, about recognizing your need to focus your time only on the events that have a 42 to 2 ratio for the people that you want to be talking to versus the people that you don't want to be talking to, or, well, can't necessarily provide the value to your business. Again, this is a working thing, right? Networking is actually working. And so if you're not using it right, then you're just kind of wasting that work time. And then that's going to dig into your personal time, and it's going to dig into all these other things. And then next thing you know, your business is taking over your life. Don't let it happen, right? Move up, move outside, outgrow. Make it a point, make it a goal of yours to outgrow the groups that you're in, because that's a good thing, right? And there are going to be people that have a problem with that, but that's their issue. Remember, it's a good thing for you to outgrow that group. So tell me, have you ever had to start over in a new market, or start a new industry, or just start a new job and rebuild from the ground up? We want to hear from you. We want to hear stories. We want to hear tips and tricks, or any ideas that you have that we might not be talking about here in this video. And if you do have those, drop down in the comments and let us know. While you're down there, hit the like button so that we know that you're getting something out of the video. So the next thing here, I've kind of already touched on a little bit, but I'm going to dive in again, because this is probably one of the most important things that you can do to grow your network in a new town. And that is ask. Ask for new connections. Ask to be connected to so-and-so from this insurance group. I saw you're connected on LinkedIn. Ask to be connected to any commercial insurance brokers that they know. Ask to be connected to whatever you're looking for. Ask, right? The only way that you're actually going to get anything is if you actually ask for it. Obviously, you have to know what you're asking for. You have to know how to ask for it, right? Don't be a jerk about it. Don't be that person that just jumps on a call and says, "Oh, well, I see you're connected to so and so and so and so. Why don't you send me their contact information and I'll reach out to them?" Well, no, that's not what this conversation's for, right? Don't be that person. I've met with that person. They're not fun, and they never get anything from me. And usually we stop working together in fairly short order afterwards. But ask for the connections. Again, people are willing to help you. If they're willing to sit down with you 9 times out of 10, they're willing to help you as well. So all you have to do is ask. And yes, I get it. It's weird. It's awkward. But do yourself a favor. Jump on their LinkedIn 10 minutes before the meeting. Find 5 people that would work, that would be good connections for you, whether they're good clients or good referral partners, right? Find those people. Find 5, 10 names and just say, "Hey, listen, here are some people that I see you're connected to. Do you know them well enough to make an introduction to me if this meeting goes well, or if you're comfortable, or whatever," right? But ask for the connection, because if you don't ask for it, you're never going to get it. And this is another one that I cannot stress enough. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Whatever you do, whatever you say you're going to do, whatever you think about, hey, this would be a good idea to do it. If you tell somebody that you're going to follow up with them, if you tell somebody that you're going to make connections for them, if you tell somebody that you're going to reach out about XYZ, or talk about this specific event, or talk about this group that you want to go to, you better go on and actually do it. Because if you don't, that is absolutely going to follow you around to everybody that person knows. Because once you tell John, "Oh yeah, you know what? I know somebody, I'm going to make a connection for you," and you don't follow up with John, then every time that Sarah and Sue and Steve and Phil all ask John, "Hey, you know that guy Ian? What do you think about him?" Well, I mean, he seemed like a good guy, but he didn't actually follow up on what he told me that he was going to do. So, I mean, I haven't actually sat down with him since. How does that do for you, right? So follow up. Make sure you're doing it, right? You can use automated systems. Mission Suite is a perfect example of this, right? We have a full automation platform that's built specifically for networking and for referral relationship building. So if you tell somebody, "You know what, it'd be great to get together in a few months from now," all you have to do is add that person to the database, and the system is going to send off that initial email for you. Whether or not they respond, at least they've seen your email show up and that you've actually done what you said that you were going to do. And so now when someone says, "Hey, what do you think of that guy Ian?" He's like, "Oh, you know what? Every few months he reaches out to me, and now that you mention it, I haven't actually gotten a chance to reconnect with him, and I need to do that." Right? It's a whole different perspective, because you're actually doing what you say you're going to do. Business is all about trust, right? And the business of business is the business of people. You need to be able to make those connections with people. You need to be able to actually develop relationships with those people. And the only way to do that is through consistency and through actually doing what you tell them you're going to do. So if you do something, if you say something, make sure to follow up on it. And now all you have to do is rinse and repeat. Keep doing that for as long as it takes to actually build out your network. And you know what? Yes, this can be a long-term process. There's no question about that. But these are some ways that you can shorten it, right? Again, asking for connections, doing your follow-ups, making sure that you're meeting with anybody that'll meet with you, right? But just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, right? If you have questions, if you wonder about, well, what's too much, what's enough, just start yourself with one list, right? So, this is what I kind of refer to as my referral bench. So start yourself with a list. I want a marketing person. I want an insurance person. I want all these different people, and then start adding people to the list as you get connections with them. That way you know what holes you need to fill. And it can be incredibly valuable for you to do that. In fact, Phil Pelto, who is the CEO and founder of Firestorm, a phenomenal networking group here in Denver and in some other areas as well, and he and I actually built out a podcast called the Referral Bench Podcast that is all about referrals and networking. So check that out too. If you're a podcast listener, it's on any podcast station that you'll listen to: Apple, Spotify, Google. I mean, there's a bunch of other ones out there that I don't even know. But check it out, because you'll get some great information off of that. All right, well, that's it for me for today. With that, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you have not yet, do me a favor, drop down, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you're notified anytime that we post new videos. If you can give this video a like, that'd be awesome. If you can give it a share, give it a comment, whatever it is, right? These things all help us with this whole YouTube algorithm thing that we're trying to play with here. So anything that you can do to help there would be great. It's going to help me more than it's going to be a pain for you. So it'd be great. It'd be great if that worked out for you. Either way, doing me a favor, check out the other videos that are on your screen now, and we will see you again next week. Cheers.